The reason most online tutors get stuck at 10 to 30K a month is simple. They try to scale without the foundations in place. So in this video, I'll share what I would fix first as an online tutor wanting to scale my student base predictably before running ads, rebuilding my funnel, or my offer. This is for online tutors who've got a premium group tutoring program. You're enrolling students. The thing is, some months you're full, the next month you're refreshing your inbox, guessing with ads, trying new tactics at random. So what I'll share in this video is based on our experience in coaching over 3,000 tutors over the past 5 years, showing you what works because we've helped multiple tutors scale to 7 figures. So let's jump in and show exactly what you need to do to scale your student base predictably. Let's go. So here's why tutors get stuck at 10K, 20K, even 30K months and not able to scale predictably past that. It's really down to these 3 things, and I'll show you exactly what I would fix first and go in sequential order exactly what you need to do to scale your online tutoring business. So if you take a look at the screen here, there's 3 reasons why tutors plateau. Okay, first is a broken signature tutoring offer. Okay, so that comes down to 3 things. 1, your offer is not tight enough, simply meaning the promise, the result that you're promising your students, the economics of it, so your price points. Third, the scalability is misaligned. So basically the model that you're trying to enroll students into is wrong. So you don't have a solid signature offer in place that actually makes the entire business run. So the foundations aren't there. We're going to cover that first in a second. Second thing is a broken acquisition system. So you're either relying on referrals, you're posting content, you're boosting posts, you're running cold ads. So you're running meta ads or YouTube ads wherever, and you're doing this to a cold audience. So you just can't convert enough traffic into paid clients. So you turn your ads off, whatever, and you're stuck in that cycle. Or you're either just using the wrong funnel based on where your business is at and what team members you have. Okay. The third is a broken delivery infrastructure. So you're either stuck in delivery too long as the tutor, you haven't delegated fast enough, you're using the wrong teaching model at scale because you can't be doing group sessions yourself at scale. You need teaching team to do that, and we're going to cover that. Or you're enrolling students and then everything, bursts into flames because you're bursting the pipes, the delivery breaks. The moment the ads start working, student results slip because you just can't cope with the demand, or your teachers aren't delivering. If you've got tutors hired, they're just not delivering the service that you need them to in order for the students to get results. So these are the 3 reasons why tutors plateau, and we'll look at what you should fix first and go in sequential order from there. Now, here's why I'm qualified to speak to you about this as well. Here's a few of my clients. I'll zoom in. Here's Alan. We presented him with our 7-figure tutor award. You can see on the screen, he hit 100K month without a major push. He did 133 grand last September. This is in a single month, so 6-figure months, not 6-figure years. Here's Graham, attended one of our events. You can see here he was getting 300 leads a month. He's got a salesperson. They're closing at 2 grand a week for him without even him taking any calls. So he's taking calls, but he's got someone else doing it for him. He's scaled since then. And then, since I've worked with Graham, he brought in over £750,000 in pounds. That's obviously more than $1 million in US dollars. Okay. Laurie, again, another 7-figure tutor that we've helped, presented over the 7-figure tutor award. When she came in, she enrolled 50 students in 3 months. And this was back in the early days before she hit 7 figures. She hit her first 20K month. Tutu was using some of the strategies I'm going to teach you. She enrolled 18 students in a single day, scaled a business to over 122 grand in a single month. There's me with Tutu at a live event as well. So we connect with these teachers in person. Luke Savin over here holding an award that we presented him to at an event. You can see here, scaled his business, 100 grand in the first 8 months, and then did 34 grand in 24 hours. Pretty impressive. Jared, presented him with this award at one of our events as well for hitting his first 10 grand in his business. And then he is able to scale way past then, doing 39 grand. This was just over a year ago now. I think this was last January, 39 grand. And he's continued to scale from there. Marcus did 50 grand in a single month. Obviously, I've got some photos here. Presented him with awards as well. I remember when he hit his first 10 grand, but then obviously he's using some of the strategies what's keeping him stuck at that level to break past it and obviously get to a 50 grand month mark. And even Dalton did 500 grand in a single month. Okay, again, presented award at a live event for crossing 7 figures. So let's walk through first fix. So the first fix is the offer, right? So making sure you got a signature offer in place. Now, there's three parts to fixing your offer. Remember, it's the promise, it's the economics, and it's the model, so the scalability of your offer. Okay, so we're going to cover each. So the first thing is the promise. So it's making sure we follow what we call the rule of one. So I help first grade students, just an example in green, read above grade level in 12 weeks. They can perform at the top of class in every subject with my rapid reading system. Okay, so I'm going to break down what the promise is. The promise is what result you are promising your students, what you're going to help them achieve, and making sure you've got something tangible, but then also making sure you can back it up with some form of unique methodology or mechanism that helps you stand out. Okay, so a lot of tutors just fail because they go out there and, hey, we teach K through 12 or 9th to 12th grade students, boost their confidence in math. So there's no kind of real promise on a tangible grade and result. So that's the first thing you need to fix. Now, here's why this works. A cold audience. So a cold audience is someone who's never met before. And this is part of the reason. If you're trying to turn people, why people can't scale, if you're trying to turn someone who's only just heard of you or seen you online into a client and pay you a premium rate, they're not going to do that, right? So cold audiences, okay, they instantly understand the outcome and why it's superior. Okay, so you stand out instead of just blending in wishy-washy like another tutor or pebble on the beach, and you attract premium buyers who want actual results. Okay, they're problem aware and results driven. So the first thing is to make sure your promise is locked in using the rule of one. Specific subject, specific result, specific benefit of why they want the result, and then a specific method helping you position yourself as unique. Okay, now the economics of it. So this is, again, why a lot of tutors can't scale predictably with ads, because they've just got the economics all wrong, okay? And so they're either selling monthly subscriptions, things like that, pay-as-you-go, one-on-one, by the hour. That just can't work with ads to scale, okay? And this is why a lot of tutors get stuck, because they just don't have the margins. So the economics, you need a premium price point, and we'll look at different price points in a sec, that gives you the margins to scale. So that way you can spend more on ads, you can hire staff, advisors to help you and consult your leads, your operations team, doing all the tech, everything like that, admin for you, okay? Now, this allows you to get predictable commitments instead of randomly hourly bookings as well, meaning you can get a student signing up for 12 weeks, even a year, and that means you've got predictability in your business. It means you're obviously going to have higher long-term value or lifetime value families. They're going to stay longer if they're committing for longer, which means you get them better results, and they're more likely to refer you to other people. So having a premium price point isn't you just trying to charge an arm and a leg for tutoring. It's to help you achieve all of those things. More committed families, better margins, better results for your students. And so this works because now you can acquire customers more profitably, right? You can actually use things like sponsored advertising to grow quicker. You're not relying on referrals or seasonal spikes, and that allows you to just grow the business more confidently. And so here's an example of a tracker. Now, if you were trying to break through and get to the 50 grand a month mark, and you can just do this with your own kind of services as well, price points. Now, if you were selling 500, now we're going to presume you're selling a service at 12 weeks, right? And then we're going to customize this in just a second. Let's say you were selling 12 weeks per student, 500. This would be somewhere at a start point. Like if you're already past the 10K, 20K month mark, you shouldn't be selling at $500. That's where someone would start. Now, bookings to calls. So basically your show up rate from a lead who books onto your calendar to speak to you about your tuition program, 70%. We want to show up, okay? Close rate, 40%, that would be very good to cold traffic. 25% would be acceptable as well, okay? Now, lead to booking. So from the amount of leads that you get, 20% we want booking in. Obviously, you can boost it by hiring things like an application setter, someone to follow up your leads, and then if you're averaging about $10 per lead, okay? So based on all of these stats, you could enter these in. Now, it would show you okay, exactly how many leads you'd need to hit and what your ad budget would need to be in order to hit your goal monthly revenue. So if we wanted to hit 50 grand, I'd need almost 2,000 leads. I'd need to have 357 bookings. I need to take 250 calls. Now, if you were to break that down over the course of a week, that's about 60 live calls. So 60 people you would need to speak to. You're going to burn out. You're going to have a team. You would have to have a team in order to take that many calls, right? Plus, if you hired a team, someone to consult your leads and speak to them, they're not going to close at the same and make enrollments at the same rate as you. So this, you can see how just the economics, if you had a price point like this, doesn't work. And that's why a lot of tutors fail and can't scale, because their price points just don't work. So you have to raise your rates so you can scale predictably. So if we were to look at it in here and now look at the screen, and we just make one switch on the economics by changing the price point, look what will happen. So now let's say that we managed to boost our rate to $1,500, okay, or pounds, whatever that is. Now all of a sudden it's way more feasible, right? Now I can now only need to take 80 calls a month-ish. That's about 20 a week. Doable, all right, still tricky. But again, if I was to raise my rates, again, put on a more premium service, because the higher I charge, the better service I can put on anyway, okay? Now I only need to take 60-ish, 62, right? Again, more manageable, okay? So this is how important the economics are of the business. Now, if I weren't able to do that and I was only charging $1,000, well, now here, oops, definitely don't want to charge $100. Let's change that to $1,000. And I was doing this. The only really way for me to scale from there and hit the 50 grand a month is going to be hard, right? I'd probably have a load of recurring cash coming in from previous students, but it's going to be pretty tough, right? So the only thing I could try and do is improve my marketing at that point and cut my lead cost in half. Then it might lower my ad budget to give me better margins. Okay. But again, that's going to be tough. Lower leads doesn't necessarily mean better leads, right? So this is part of the offer. You've got to have your economics right. And then the last bit of the offer, very simple, is the model. Okay. So of course you need one offer built around a high value transformation. Okay. So we've already covered that, what the promise is. That allows you to bring one type of student in who can actually be grouped, and then you can scale it without burning out. Because if all the students are very similar, well, guess what? It's going to be very easy to teach. There's not as much differentiation that needs to go on. Okay. And you can also then create one structured pathway that if a student comes in, they just need to do A, B, C, D, and that's how we get them the results. And then it's very easy to train a team and delegate this out very quick. Okay. So why this works, you can obviously take on more students without sacrificing quality if they're all the same, because your promise is very unique and it's only calling out one type of student. Plus, if you're not delivering a million different one-on-one lessons, you're not going to be burnt out either. You've got a ton of energy. It's very easy to scale this up. So you can then create predictable fulfillment, how you deliver the sessions, what goes on, what the students get, how everything works, without you trading hours for money, instead of unpredictable pay as you go. Okay. So I have my daughter, I send her to basketball lessons at school. They charge by the term or the semester, right? That gives them predictability. Even if my daughter doesn't go, they haven't got to deal with cancellations, reschedules. And there's just so many people with the model, they don't charge upfront for long enough and get long enough commitments, and they're invoicing monthly or by the week or by the lesson is just bizarre. Okay. And so doing it this way helps you have a signature offer in place to allow you to scale. Okay. You've got the infrastructure with your delivery because you've got one type of student to handle the demand. So when ads do start pumping and you bring in more students, systems don't break. Okay. So this is really the first thing that you would fix. From there, there's some other things that you can do, which we'll walk through now. So fix number 2 is simply the funnel. Okay. So there's a different funnel that you should use at each stage of your business. And I'll break down exactly what they are and who should use them and when. Okay. Because what got you here type of thing won't get you there, right? You've probably heard that saying. So there's really 3 main funnels that we teach to tutors. Okay. Based on where they're starting from or what time they've got available, or even skill level when they're starting out. So funnel number 1 is the DM funnel, so direct messenger funnel. Okay, this is really just for people going from their first 0 to, 6-figure run rate, 10 grand a month. Okay, it's great when you're starting out. The reason why we use something like this, so this is when someone clicks an ad, and if I show you advertising chart here, they simply click on a Facebook ad or Instagram, and then they go straight into a messaging conversation. That allows you then to engage with the prospects in a messenger conversation. You can build trust faster. You would then just book them in for a call, give them some homework, and then enroll them on Zoom. Okay. So it's got basically zero tech involved. Very easy to set up. Great for someone just starting out. It does require more time though. So I've got this on here. This would work in the beginning because there's 2 different funnels you can start with, and we'll cover them. You might also start with the instant form. The DM funnel would work better if you've actually got more time. So if you're a teacher who's like doing all sorts of different things, you've got your fingers in a ton of pies, maybe you're still doing stuff in the classroom, whatever you might be doing. If you don't have the time, or you don't have someone to follow up with your leads and messages, this doesn't really work. Okay. with that in mind, you're going to get higher quality with a direct messenger funnel generally compared to things like instant forms on Meta, which we'll come on to in a second. Reason being is you're able to communicate with the people, warm them up, qualify them yourself, and therefore book them in for a call. Show rate's going to be higher, so quality is generally better. Okay, so funnel number 2, this really works from people who are at 0 to 20 grand a month. Okay, you probably can push a little bit higher. Okay, but it's very hard to scale predictably past that and keep margins good, calendar efficiency good, and I'll explain what that means in a second. So this is also great when starting out. So this is simply running similar things. You run an ad on Facebook, so Meta, Instagram, and they go to a form on Facebook. Okay, a Meta, it just pops up. The reason why this works, again, very low tech. You don't need to have a funnel page or anything like that. They enter their name, email, phone number. You can ask a few qualifying questions as well prior to that to filter out bad fits and tire kickers. And then you book them in for a call on your calendar, give them some homework, and then consult on Zoom and enroll. Okay, so that can definitely work. Now, the thing is with this, you're going to get a lot of leads on this. And the reason why you get a lot of leads with the instant forms is because it's already on Meta. Okay, and they don't like people leaving their platform. So because the instant form is situated on Meta itself or on Instagram, it just pops up, you're going to get more throughput. So more leads are going to come through. So you'll likely get more leads. However, the thing with that is that you get lower quality, okay? Because it's easier to submit. Yes, you can add in applications, things like that, and it just does require less time in the beginning, which meaning if you don't have much time and you're kind of sat at 10K, or even if you're just getting started, the instant form funnel is a great place, okay? Reason why over time it doesn't work when you scale past that is because of the lead quality issue. So even if you're scaling pretty hard and you're past this revenue mark in your business, what you'll find is a lot of the leads coming onto your calendar aren't good fits. They're not qualified enough. There's low friction in the funnel, meaning it's very easy to get through. Even if you add the qualifying questions, people can just lie, right? So therefore, even if you have like a setting team and you have team application setter setting for you, they're probably going to stick a lot of junk on there. Plus you get low pickups, meaning not many people answer, and therefore your calendar's not efficient. You're speaking to people who aren't qualified, so it wastes your time. Okay. Now, funnel 3 is the shortcut funnel. This is what we generally recommend for people really wanting to scale to 6-figure months. Okay. So the thing is with this, so it's got more skill required. You will get better quality and it's more scalable, and we'll walk through what that looks like right now. Okay. So shortcut funnel. What you are doing is you're running same thing, same ad, Facebook, Instagram. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they'll send someone to an opt-in page, which is a funnel page situated outside of Meta. It's not Messenger. It's where someone goes, they enter their name, email, phone number. You've got them as a lead. You've got their contact details, and then you give them the next step. What we recommend with the shortcut funnel is you skip that funnel opt-in page and you go straight to what we call a VSL or booking page. So this is a simple video that educates the prospects on what it is you do, how it works, why it works, with proof, testimonials, things like that. And then you get them to submit an application directly on this funnel. So you're qualifying them and filtering out the bad fits before you now get them to book a call. And so the reason why this is more scalable is, of course, it requires more skill because you've got a few things to optimize here. You've got to optimize, one, your ad. Second, you've got to optimize the VSL, which is a video sales letter. So basically how good the video is. And that's why people who are at the beginning of their business, they generally can't do this very well because they don't have the skill set to produce some form of good video and get the scripting right, the framework to get more qualified leads. But if you think about it, if a parent or student, instead of just loading up an instant form, was able to see you and hear from you, you've got more trust, you've got more buy-in, and now they're more likely to fill out the application form. And if they do fill out the application form, they've seen your ad, now they've seen the video, way more bought in. So when they fill out the application form, they're more qualified. And now there's another hoop for them to book through as well. So they've had to leave the Meta platform, watch your video, fill out the form. Now they've got to book in a call. It's way more scalable because it's better quality. But as I said, this is harder to do, which is why this comes later in the business journey. Okay, so that's what I would fix next based on where you're at, is the funnel. Okay, guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps that I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace, and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out, and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments, and go and pick up your copy today. The next thing is the nurture engine. So the only reason people can't scale with ads most of the time once they get to a certain point is because they're just not nurturing their leads. You're trying to turn strangers into students way too quickly. And when you do that, you just get crickets, or hey, can we think about it? Or it's too much, or people don't show up for the call, and your close rate stinks, right? So you're just getting leads and people on your calendar, but you feel that they're unqualified. You feel that there's not enough trust. And it's just because you don't have a solid nurture engine in place. Okay, so there's a few things that we do with the teachers to help them scale past those 20K, 30K months and build, high multi-6 and even 7-figure business. And this is what we do. So the first thing, very easy, anyone can do this, is making sure you've got some form of homework. Now, your homework is something that you provide to the parents and students, if you look at the flowchart, before a call. Okay. Now, this can be a simple PDF or resource that you can give to people, which is great when you're starting out because it's not a lot of work, very easy to create, that just educates on a few things. One, how your methodology works. So what it is you do with your students, why it works, and then social proof and authority proof based on you. So that way, at least they're coming into the call. They really need to know a couple of things before they attend a call with you is, does what you do work? And how does it work, right? Which is your method, how you get students results, and then just validating that, yes, it works. Okay, which is showing testimonials, showing proof, or if you don't have that, to show your teaching experience and expertise and the amount of years you've been teaching or whatever. And then that means there's only one question when they attend a call, which is, how does this work for my child? Or how does this work for me? Okay. So you can do that in a resource PDF in the beginning. You could even do this in the form of a testimonial case study, and you could let that do it for you. Or it could just be some form of value video. So a longer video that breaks the entire process down. That's obviously a little bit harder to do, but can definitely work. Okay. So that's bare minimum. Okay. That's bare minimum, the homework. The plus, if someone does it, and they come to a call and they've watched it, they're way more committed and bought in, right? More trust, okay? And they're already a better student because you already trained them to do something before attending something with you, okay? So the next thing, once you've got that in place, if you want to keep scaling, you need to use warm retargeting acts. This is showing testimonials and reminder offers to people who either didn't book a call with you or didn't enroll, right? Or didn't fill out the application. So this is the top line that I've got here. If we just zoom out a little bit, it's just one part of the process. Now, only 2 to 5% of people generally who see you first time are going to buy industry standards. So if you speak to someone in Zoom, doesn't mean they're not going to become a student, but you bring them back into your nurture engine and you use a few things: email marketing, calling, SMS, power content, which can be retargeting ads, things like that. So that way you run more marketing ads on Facebook and Meta to remind these people about why they should enroll, about how you can help them, and keep showing them testimonials. And if you think about a conveyor belt, someone needs to move along the items in a factory, move along the conveyor belt until they're ready to be made and they're finished. You've got the finished article. Okay. Now, so you got that. Next thing is hyper organic power content. Okay. So what I mean by this is, if you think about your Instagram profile or TikTok, Meta, YouTube, whatever it is you use, a lot of people do that and they post content. What we get our clients to do is what we call, and so you would call that organic posting, right? When you're just posting on your social profiles. What we get our clients to do is post this power content, on their organics and socials. And then we call it hyper organic, because what we do is we then spend a little bit of money and push this back to people who've already been into our funnel. So people who've already clicked on ads, people who've already watched some of the videos, people who've perhaps had a call. And at different stages of the buyer journey, you need to show them different things. So some of the things you want to show them is keep reminding them about your teaching methodology, why it works, how it works, showing students who've used it, dealing with objections. Let's say that you're trying to grow your group tutoring business. You keep getting objections about parents want one-on-one. We'll now create some power content about the benefits of group tutoring, put it on your social profiles. So you put it here, people are back into your nurture system because they've been along the funnel, and now for whatever reason they didn't attend the call, or they didn't book the call, or they attended the call and didn't buy. Now we can target those people by paying Facebook or Meta a little bit of money and say, hey, show them this content for me. Okay, so it's creating hyper organic content there. Okay, other things, vision and mission stuff. So why your business even exists, why you do what you do for your students, that type of stuff, your teaching philosophy, why you do it your way or whatever. Okay, so that's one of the things. Another thing you saw in that thing was email. So a lot of teachers just don't email. Now, if you think about when you get a lead, that's like a seed. Okay, so think about a farmer. In order to fertilize his crop, he goes out, or in order for the crop to grow, he fertilizes the crop. Right? So he doesn't just plant the seeds and leaves them, he fertilizes the seeds. So it's what you've got to do for your business. If you're not fertilizing your seeds, you're not watering the garden, they're not going to grow into students for you. So a lot of tutors, what they'll do is they'll have a 7-day, 5-day email sequence, and then they'll never speak to their leads again. Well, actually, studies show if you email your leads every single day, you're going to boost revenue by 20 to 30% a month. Okay, so if you're not emailing your leads every single day, not just the first 7-day autoresponder that you might have set up, but every day after that, you're leaving 30% extra revenue on the table. Okay, so, and that's probably going to be a lot over a year, over the next decade, right? Expensive. So you're going to be emailing 3 to 4 CTAs a week. CTA is call to action, so direct opportunities to book into your calendar. Now, if you've got an empty calendar and you've got space on it, and you haven't emailed leads that you've already paid to get, what are you doing? Right? So you can push more call to actions per week if you need to fill your calendar. Okay. Now, obviously you can't do call to actions all the time. Call to action, again, meaning just basically a direct offer to book in with you. If you do that all the time, you're going to burn through your list. You've got to give a little bit of value as well. So you want to have a nice mix. So 3 to 4 based on how many call to actions you did can be more value, education driven emails that you send to your list to educate them, build trust, report, that type of stuff. And then one of the other things that we get our clients to do to scale predictably is do what we call a monthly masterclass. This can literally just be a repetition of your value video that you might have as you use for homework or anything around your teaching methodology. But if you think about, you've got all of these leads on a monthly basis, and then what happens is you don't ever educate them, get them on Zoom, and then walk through how your method works. Okay. And so that way it gives you an opportunity to create a little parent intro session or demo session that might make some of the people who are sitting on the fence get off the fence and actually want to enroll, because you're able to show them the inside of perhaps how your tuition program runs, and they just needed that little bit of extra push. Okay, so we recommend doing some sort of monthly masterclass session. Not anything you have to pay for. You're not paying for new leads. These are people who are already on your list. So every 30 days, just email the people who haven't enrolled yet or that became a lead over the last 30, 45 days and say, hey, I'm hosting a parent info or demo session on Zoom. You create a simple invitation with a Zoom registration link. Just pick a day each week at the start of each month for the previous month's leads, and educate them and give them the opportunity to enroll. You might even be able to take direct payments there, so deposits or even sales, okay? So this is the big thing. Once you've got the offer dialed in, once you've got the right funnel, now you're just gonna build the nurture engine, okay? From there, it's all about scalable delivery. So teaching 1 to 2 hours a week is absolute maximum you should be doing once you're at that kind of 20K plus mark, okay, in your business. Okay. Now, how you get away with doing this and making sure the student results scale predictably is you switch as the tutor, as the main person, to just doing 1 to 2 live masterclass style sessions per week. Okay. So this is really important because you don't want to get out of delivery unless you're just not a tutor and you're just the business owner and you've got other teachers doing it all for you. But you don't want to get out of the tutoring altogether. Reason being is simply just because It allows you to get like eyes on the ground, feel like how the students are turning up and showing up, how everything's going, and allows you to stay in touch with your students as well. So you switch to doing 1 to 2 live masterclass sessions a week. These aren't small groups. This is simply a value add. So all of the students will have their small group sessions of however many is in a group, 5 to 10 or whatever it is you do. And then you have one main session where all of your students can come. And that way you're still in touch with them. They still get to see you, but your delivery that you personally do is leveraged. Okay. You have then tutors and TAs delivering the rest. Okay. Next bit is hiring a student success specialist. Okay. So at a point where you've scaled students and your classes are, pretty full and you're scaling your ads, you're bringing more students in, generally what starts to happen is the accountability of the students goes down, the check-ins because the tutors are busy because they've got full classes. What happens then is results start to slip, people want refunds, things like that, because they're not getting the attention that they need. And so what we get our clients to do is hire what we call a student success specialist. Now this can be an older age student, university student, it can be some sort of teaching assistant. And their whole job is to really speak to people who haven't attended 2 lessons, call them up. So if someone doesn't attend 2 lessons in a row, for example, they call them up and they can make sure and check in with the students, hold them accountable, provide any key information. If you run some sort of student or parent community, to be present in the community, to really just kind of be the driving force and the energy behind your business that kind of checks in with all the students. Think about a concierge is this model, okay? That allows you, once you've got these in place, takes a lot of admin, a lot of accountability, a lot of student check-ins, just making sure everything's running as you're scaling off of your plate so that you can focus on RGAs. RGAs are revenue generating actions. This then allows you to take more sales calls. So in order to do that, you could then, now you've got the margins, you've got more calendar space. This is when you generally would hire a setter, so an application setter, and you can focus on enrolling students, okay? The worst thing you can do is delegate closing too soon because you're going to have a massive drop in revenue. From there, this is how Luke scaled to 34 grand in 24 hours. He brought in 34 grand. Now you can really add in extension offers, things like that for your students, boost lifetime value, and you can switch to offering things like annual plans. And now offer your students the opportunity to enroll for the year, not 12 weeks, okay? You simply then just offer bonuses to current students to boost the incentive to get them to want to sign up for the next year. You don't even need to wait until the end of their 12-week renewal date or sign-up rate or commitment is coming to an end. You can just offer them. And this is what Luke did. He created some sort of annual plan, offered it to his students at the end of the term, and he was immediately able to bring in 34 grand cash in 24 hours, okay? Because now you can focus on improving your programs. You're not stuck in delivery. You've got a solid acquisition system in place. Your nurture system's working. And so then once you've validated this annual offer to your students who are already clients, right? Now you start offering it to new students. Okay, on the front end when you first speak to them. And then if they say no, at least you've got a downsell of 12 weeks, okay? Generally, what you would do is 20 to 30% savings with an annual plan in relation to like a 12-week kind of sign-up rate, right? So you can work out what that would be for your business. Other things you can do to boost lifetime value of your students once you've got all of this in place to keep scaling. Add in additional recurring revenue by creating like a VIP club. So basically a simple upsell. This is best when you're teaching less. So when you're already doing those kind of 1 to 2 maximum hourly masterclass live lecture style lessons a week with your students. And then what you can do as soon as someone enrolls and say, hey, we've actually got the VIP club and it's just an extra X per month. They can sign up for it on a recurring basis. And all it really is just more access to you where you could create some sort of homework club or a Q&A with you or an extra live session with you. Again, super leveraged because it's only 1 hour of your time, but you can then limit spaces, perhaps 10 students in there. And then let's say it's an extra 100 or an extra 197 or 200 per month just to attend this one. And you cap it at 10 students. There's an extra 20 grand just from this VIP club. Okay. Now you offer this to students immediately after they've enrolled if you think they're a good fit for your VIP club. And that's quickly how you can scale your business. This is what all of our clients, they're using some form of these systems, okay, based on where they're at in their business. So Alan, who hit 7 figures, who did 100 grand in a single month, using some of these models. Graham, who scaled to over $1 million USD in sales, using some of these systems. Okay. But the first thing you need to get right is making sure you got the foundations in place and making sure your offer is geared up for scale. And then you just work your way through all of the next things. The right funnel, building all of the nurture system out, then making sure your delivery is scalable, and then boosting lifetime value. Okay. That's really it. If you enjoyed the video, you want to get our help scaling your online tutoring business past that 10, 20, even 30, even 50K a month, what you need to do is click down below. There'll be a link you can book in to speak with us, and we'll help you get started and build you out a scaling plan for your online tutoring business based on your start point. So click down below, find that link. We'll see you soon.